Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. These high performance habits are on the roll. Week number 5. Last week, we talked about raising necessity. How can we set ourselves powerfully on our day to day so that we can come with excellence at everything that we encounter? This week, we talk about another high performance habit that is sure to rock your world if you put it to use. And this week's conversation is around increasing productivity. Now, before we get into how to do it, what is productivity? How can we talk about productivity? What is this concept of increasing productivity? Increasing productivity has to do with, more than anything, drum roll please, goal setting. It starts with that specific thing. Now, I start with that because if we don't have any specific outcome that we're looking to achieve, then everything and anything is worth our time. What we're talking about around productivity is not having the feeling of being drained at the end of the day without having anything to show for it. Or not having this sense that you've just wasted your time because you have no idea what you just did. There's no specific outcome. You don't have a specific set trackable measure. You're just kind of like in the wind, not even knowing what you're doing. You're just doing something. Right? So when it comes to productivity, we want to start to look, how can we now use the 24 hours in a day? If you look at it, it's really about 16, depending what time you wake up, of actual being in the world, doing whatever it is that you're doing. How can we use that time, and how can we chunk it up, and how can we make the most use of it? Effective, productive use. Now, if you look at the world's highest performers, these people have the same exact time as you do, as I do. How is it that they're able to put so much on their plate and they're able to get it all done and they're able to do it in a way that is of high quality? Remember, we don't want to jeopardize quality. We want to actually bring the level of quality up as we're also increasing the level of quantity. All while we're maintaining this all well-rounded approach to life in which we're fully engaged with the people in it and we're fully connected with ourselves and the people in our lives. So to begin, and I already gave you a little bit of a backdrop with it, it starts with the basics. The basics for increasing your level of productivity starts with this, right? It comes with setting challenging and specific goals. Now look, this is the starting point for any sort of achievement. This is the starting point for anything that you're looking to accomplish for yourself in your life. This is the starting point to the simplest things if you really want to do those things in an effective and in a timely manner. Setting the appropriate goals that are challenging. Because look, when we can challenge ourselves, there's a certain level of engagement, which drives focus, which drives productivity, which drives performance, high performance. When we set challenging and specific goals, we now know what that outcome is. We now threw it into the future. We're now able to see the specificity of it, and we can know, okay, if I'm going to get here, now what do I need to do in order to get there? And this is what high performers do so effectively. They set challenging goals for themselves, which has them be engaged with whatever it is that they're doing, and then they work backwards. So here's something that you can do with this specific focus, with this specific area of goal setting. Set a challenging goal, something that really kind of like puts you outside of your comfort zone. Because look, if you're setting a goal that you already know how to do, you're not stretching. If you're setting a goal that you already know how to do, there's no growth. The purpose of goals is for growth, it's for expansion. It's to push yourself beyond what you now know yourself to be. And that's when we experience this level of connection, and this is why it's important to set challenging goals, because we expand beyond what we know ourselves to be. And this expansion, it's interesting, connected to productivity, connected to high performance. So when you have that challenging goal in front of you, it's specific, you know what you want. If you have something like, I want to make a lot of money, what is that for you? What is make a lot of money? I want to be more connected to my family. What does that mean? What specific things do you have? Is it maybe one time a week you sit down around the dinner table? Is it maybe one time a week you go out with every single member individually? Is it maybe one time a week you guys all come together and you share each other's experiences or each other's lessons, each other's goals for the week? Whatever that may be, that's specific. You can track that. Basic number 1, goal set. Basic number 2, another key one. you have to maintain a high level of energy. Now, we've already talked about energy before, and I want to remind you that this isn't just physical energy, that vibrancy, that level in which you feel like you don't even need the coffee, you don't need the mid-afternoon nap. No, you're fully, there's like this level of energy to you that you don't really know where it's coming from, but you're generating it. You are now creating this energy from within. You don't need anything outside of you. I also want to add that it's not just about the physical, remember, it's about the mental. It's about that sharpness. It's about being able to do everything that you set yourself to do, and to do it in a way in which you're focused, you're clear, you're concrete as to what you're after. Right? So make sure you go back to the homework, because in the homework, we start to look at what are different things that we want to start doing to maintain that level of energy, right? And we want to start to take a look at rest. Are you resting? There's plenty of studies, and people will argue this, but there's plenty of studies out there that now show if you are not getting 7 to 8 hours of rest per night, you are killing the way that you're able to produce in your day-to-day. Your intellect isn't able to get the full, proper rest to really perform at the highest and optimal levels. Rest. Are you eating nutritious food? So simple. Are you eating food that nourishes you, or are you just eating food that fills you up? Maybe you've experienced this before. You eat something, and when you eat something, you're like, oh man, I feel like I'm drained, or I feel like tired. I gotta take a nap right now, right? Maybe that kind of food is not good for you. Maybe that kind of food is not workable for your body. This is one of those things where you go and get yourself checked. Go see if you have any sort of food allergy. This could be the biggest starting point for you. If you can start to focus on the rest, on the nutrition, and the last thing on the exercise, the movement, those three things alone will increase your level of productivity in a way that you wouldn't even believe. Because it's known, if you feel good, right, you perform well. When you perform well, you're engaged. When you're engaged, you want to do more of those things. It all starts with how you feel, that physical, that mental vibrancy, physical energy. Number three, focus, right? And again, how can we maintain this level of focus? This is one of those things that as we're going through our day, these are all very intertwined. Remember, they all work coexistently with each other. Focus. How can we remain focused throughout our day? In the world of ever coming information, there is so much around us. There's so much noise. There's so many vibrations. There's so many things. There's so many notifications. There's so many different people around you trying to get your attention. How do you stay focused on the things that you're looking to accomplish? How do you stay focused on the specific steps we talked about during goal setting to get you to that challenging and expanding goal? Right? When it comes to this level of focus, you really got to be intentional. And again, I'll say it again. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It comes down to intentionality. Are you being intentional throughout your day? If you're not, this is not going to work for you. You got to be intentional. With focus, it's the same exact thing. Now with focus, we got to do this. We got to look that there's been plenty of studies done that show that when somebody is engaged in a specific task and someone takes them from that task into something else, it takes them 2 to 3 times as much more mental energy to get back on that original task. So what this means is if you are focused on a specific task, maybe it's that task leading you to that challenging goal, you are protecting that time with the rigor. That is time for you because this is non-negotiable. You need to get this time because you are going to perform this task during this time. Now what that looks like is we have people in our lives. It may look like you having a communication with them. Hey, look, between 9 and 10, don't call me. Honey, between 1 and 3, I'm not available. Obviously, emergencies come up. Understandable. Something like that comes up, of course. But if it's just because someone's trying to get your attention, sorry, not the case. With focus, start off with this as well. Every single day, before you even start your day, write out your day. What are you gonna do? Start planning your day out. Now, again, this isn't about control. This is about intentionality. What are the 3 goals that you are committed to completing during that day? What are the 3 goals that you are going to say, if these 3 things are done today, by the time I get in bed tonight, I'm going to be totally fired up, excited because I knew that I was productive with my time. So look, we're gonna bring this content in shorter time. I got some feedback, and I understand that right now the videos were too long, so we got to bring them shorter. What this means is another opportunity now for you to start diving into deeper content with the high performance method. This is through Awakening Bodies, this brand that Lauren and I are creating. Now, if you want to get deeper into these topics, into each individual habit, go to the high performance method. You'll find a link at the bottom that goes directly to that. You'll be added to that specific email list, which we go deeper into this kind of topic. Folks, if you're here right now, thank you. And if you're here right now, I'm going to ask you, are you putting in the intentional time to develop these habits? Because if you're not putting in the time, you're wasting your time, and I respect your time. And if you're not putting the intentional time, don't come back next week. This is for you. If you're just here to learn without implementation, you're not going to see any transformation. And that's not what I'm committed to. I'm committed that you have a difference made in your life. That's where these habits come in. So start today. How do you start today increasing your level of productivity? Start with goal setting. Go look at the homework, by the way. There are 10 areas in which you can now start to set challenging and specific goals. Goal setting, number 1, challenging and specific. Give yourself that endpoint. Number 2, maintain the level of energy, mental and physical, bringing that fire from within and stay focused throughout your day, which is number 3, watch your time. It is yours. Nobody else can steal it from you, only if you allow them. Now, next week, we dive deeper into these high performance habits. We talk about developing influence. How can we speak? How can we enroll people in our lives to support us? And how can we now work with the people in our lives so that we can accomplish everything we're looking to accomplish? Thank you for being here. Go check out the homework. Go do the worksheet. Set up those goals for yourself. Be intentional with what you're out to create. See you next week.